I hope for today, this was helpful to number one, bring awareness to maybe why you're feeling exhausted and burnt out. And maybe you didn't even realize that you are on that hamster wheel, that you have been running for a little while now, with beautiful intentions of growing your business and making an impact and helping your clients, which of course is always the goal. But maybe this shed a little bit of light as to why. Maybe it shed light today on the things that maybe you are putting on the back burner and not paying as close attention to, simply because you just don't have enough time or capacity to do that. And that's okay. And also the steps and the questions that I would ask you if you were in my space and you said, Sandy, I am so burnt out right now. Like, I need some help. I need to figure out a way to make this sustainable. And what it would look like, the questions I would ask you to begin to create that signature framework that's going to essentially lead to your first, I'm sure it's going to be one of many signature offers that are in your offer suite where you can impact many women and not have to sacrifice your time.
Welcome to the Biz Builders Podcast, where we believe building the business of your dreams can change your life. I'm your host, Sandy Patterson, former teacher turned certified life and business coach. After 14 years of teaching, I took a huge leap, left my job, and built 2 successful businesses with no business or sales background. Now I'm living the life of my dreams, and I'm ready to help you do the same. You're in the right spot here if you're ready to dig into not only the strategy of business building, but also the belief in yourself that building a business is possible. You're made for this, and you've got exactly what it takes to create the financial, time, and location freedom you're craving. Over here, we value progress over perfection. We embrace being uncomfortable, and we believe that anything, literally anything you want, is possible for you with the right strategy, mindset, and support. You'll also hear inspiring stories here and, of course, failures of women who are doing the same thing. The whole idea is if she can do it, so can I. Thanks for being here. Let's dive in.
Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. So happy that you are here today. If you are a new person around here, we've had a lot of new people find the podcast recently. Welcome. And if you have been a long-time listener, welcome back. I am so happy that you guys are all here. Let's talk today about growing your business and what is literally stopping you from getting off this overwhelm hamster wheel. Because if you are being honest, you are probably at a point right now in your business where you are feeling like you're doing okay, like you're doing good in your coaching business. Maybe you've got a handful of clients. You might be working your quote unquote real job. And so you're, trying to balance and work your business in between in those pockets of time that you have during the day. The ultimate goal for you is to leave that 9-to-5 job and just work your coaching business full time. But right now you're like, I am barely hanging on by a thread. I am constantly thinking about my business, wanting to grow my business, but I just don't feel like I have enough time to do that. And that essentially is leading you to feel overwhelmed. And it's eventually, if we're being real honest here, it's eventually going to lead you to burnout because what you're doing right now is not sustainable, right? So we're going to talk today about ways to actually create space to actually grow your business because, well, yes, we are moms, we are business owners, we are coaches. Some of you are still working that 9-to-5 job right now. You're also a human. You have, basic needs to take care of. You have a home that you probably take care of and contribute to. And wearing all of those hats and juggling all those things is not an easy thing. So you are probably, like I said, working in pockets of time. And honestly, I'm always going to be honest with you guys. You have to create more space to grow your business. And I don't think that makes sense. I did not understand what this really meant because in the beginning of business, right, in those first couple of years, we kind of are just getting our feet underneath us. We're trying to figure things out. And then we're in this mindset of more. The more clients I take on, the more money I'm going to make, the more hours I put in, the more clients I'm going to be able to take on, the more just more and more and more. There's this whole like more mindset mentality. And essentially what that does is that is us like stepping onto that hamster wheel and starting to, run. And then at some point down the line, we're like, wait a second, like, how do I get off of this? Like, how do I undo this like standard that I've set for myself? And when I say standard that I'm set, let me tell you, like, let me explain to you what I see happen with a lot of my clients. And also this was my story as well. So I am very, very familiar with this feeling and this overwhelm and this like, it's just a lot. Like it does, and it doesn't feel sustainable. You feel like, oh my gosh, I put all of this time and effort and, energy and just so much love and care into my clients and into my business. But it's like, I don't know if this is sustainable. I don't know if I can keep doing this. And you are in your business for the long haul. Like you are not doing this for like, as like a fun, like hobby type thing. This is like your life's work and you really want to make an impact. But right now being on that hamster wheel is making that feel impossible. It's just making you feel tired and burnt out and like, I don't know how much longer I can do this. So let me explain to you a little bit about, at least for me and for a lot of the clients that I work with now who are in those beginning phases of business, who, excuse me, or who have been in business for a little while and they're kind of like, Sandy, like, I need some help getting off of this. Like they've already come to terms with like, I can't keep doing things like I've been doing them. So like, let's figure this out together. And that's exactly what we do. And I think what ends up happening again is we're in this like more mindset or more mentality. So what ends up happening is we think, okay, and I'm just going to use the example of somebody that is working a full-time job in addition to growing their coaching business, with the goal being to grow the coaching business, to financially sustain them so that they can officially like put in that resignation letter, put in that 2-week letter at the 9-to-5 job, because that's just the goal. That's like the dream there. Okay. So we get into this, like you're already working your 9-to-5 job. So that entails at least 40 hours a week, right? So you go to your work, you do your thing at your job. That includes time probably on the front end and the back end for maybe travel or getting there or however, whatever that looks like for you. Plus, put on top of that, you are taking care of probably a family, you're taking care of yourself, you're taking care of loved ones. You got to eat, you got to sleep, like you got to shower, you got to, you want to have fun with your friends, you want to be able to spend time with the people that you love as well. And, maybe read a book or watch Netflix when you feel like it. But right now it feels like there's no time for that, because what's happening is you're doing your 9-to-5 thing and then you're squeezing in those client calls whenever you can. So maybe you're rushing home after work and you're getting right on your calls and you love coaching and you're so good at it. Like we already know that, like that's already a given. But again, it just feels like there's no time to actually do the things that are going to sustainably grow your business. And when I talk about the things that are going to sustainably grow your business, I'm talking about things that probably right now are getting placed on the back burner. And those are things like really sitting down and doing like, relationship building and networking, like essentially lead generation, right? Maybe nurturing your people, nurturing those people that are already in your space, sharing with people how they can work with you, creating content that is very, very specific and potent and speaks to your ideal client or your dream client, that attracts them to you, that has them reaching out to say, oh my gosh, like this is exactly what I need. You working with a mentor or coach on things like messaging, things like your mindset, things on strategy, around strategy and launching, and even just time to sit down and create new offers, like new offers that sound really fun for you, that are something that you know that your clients really need and would really appreciate and would really, really love. And also time to just sit down and reflect on like actually how things are going, like what feels really good in your business right now. What are you really enjoying coaching around? What are some things that maybe you're like, oh, I should probably tweak that? How are your boundaries as far as your business goes and your clients go? All of those things that I just listed, if you are thinking in your head, like, oh my gosh, those things sound amazing. And I know that I really need to be doing those things and I should be doing those things. And I actually want to be doing those things. I'm again just stuck on this hamster wheel of like running, doing, going. And I have time to see my clients and really just serve my clients. And then once that's done for the day, it's like, I don't have energy or space or time or even like a like tiny little brain cell to like do any of those other things. But here's the catch-22. Those other things are the things that are actually going to help you grow your business to a higher impact level and a higher income level as well, right? So it's like, how do we figure out, like, how do we do this? And like I said, this is where my clients come to me and they go, help, like, I love my one-to-one clients. I love the people that I'm working with, but like, I don't know, like, I don't know how to sustain this. And a lot of them will say too that like, oh my gosh, like, you know, let's just say I have these 3 clients and I love them so much. But all of their, you know, contracts are going to be over next month. And I don't know what to do, like to start to fill those spots. So there becomes this sense of like low key panic, like, oh my gosh, like what if they don't resign? What if, like, how am I going to fill those spots? How am I going to create this gap? And this whole mindset is what makes it not sustainable, is what creates the exhaustion, what creates the overwhelm, and what essentially is going to down the line create the burnout. So then the question becomes, how do we create this space in my days, in my life, in my week, in my month to actually focus on growing my business? And I think another really big part of this too, and I see this happen all the time with clients is, and again, I say that I see this happen with clients all the time. I think that this happens with my clients, like, because I went through it. So I'm like, girl, I got you. Like, I was definitely there. And that is that when you're in this, like, kind of low key panic of like, oh my gosh, how do I fill these spots? How do I keep doing this? Again, the more type mindset. We tend to take on just any client. Like, I'll take anybody on. I'll work with anybody. I'll do it. Like, it's just this part, like, I'll just do it more. The more people, the more money, the more impact, like all of those things. But really, if you stop to think about, like, hold on, like, who is it that I actually want to work with? Who is this dream client? Like, what do I actually want to coach around? Like, it's those questions that we kind of glaze over in the beginning because we're just so concerned with like more and filling those spots and making sure that we're meeting those goals that we think are going to get us towards that ultimate goal of going full-time online in your coaching business. And it's usually when I say this to my clients, there's kind of a little, like, I can see the panic in their eyes. I can see them kind of start to be like, that doesn't make sense. And that is not, like, it seems not correct. Sandy, like, are you sure? And I'm like, no. And that is like, you got to slow down a little bit. But how do we slow down without sacrificing that income point that you've already managed to create, which is amazing. And I'm sure that you're so proud of yourself already for how far you've come, as you should be. Like, you've honed your coaching skills. You know that you can work with clients. You're an amazing coach. Like, you're doing all of these incredible things and you're growing that confidence too. So you're like, okay, I got this, but like, I don't know how to like make this bigger and better and less stressful for me. And my answer is always to slow down a bit. And what that entails, like, what does slowing down actually look like? And that looks like creating a one-to-many signature offer. And I'm so excited about this. I'm launching tomorrow. It's called Sold Out Signature Offer. And we're starting it tomorrow, which will be Monday, February 3rd at the time of this recording. And this is exactly what we're going to be working on. We're going to be working on creating a signature offer. And I'm super excited about it because I'm so excited to help these women that are in this space get off the hamster wheel. And there's a lot of feelings, you guys, that come up with the idea of creating a one-to-many program. So typically in coaching spaces, right, there's one-to-one, which is just the coach and the client, which is what I've been describing up until this point. Like you're seeing your private clients, you're on a call with them for probably 45 minutes to an hour every week, or however often, whatever that looks like for you and your schedule. There's maybe 15 minutes of prep time on the back end, and then hopefully on the other end of that call, there's 15 to 20 minutes of like recap and reflection time, and just paying attention to what you guys were working on, maybe taking some notes, maybe doing a follow-up, and then some check-in at some point throughout the week as well. So that's what a one-to-one client coach relationship would look like. When we talk about a one-to-many program, it means you're the coach. So you're facilitating or you're cultivating this space, and there are many people inside this space. And when we say many, that could be 2 people, that could be up to, probably 100 people, 1,000 people even at some point. And so this is like the kicker. And like I was saying, there's so many, I think, feelings that come up with creating a one-to-many program. And you guys know that I have a teaching background. So teaching, like me, cultivating a space and like leading multiple people is not an issue for me. Like it never has been. And I've never been like afraid of that. I feel like if I can do it with like 35-year-olds, I can do it like in any space. It's just my wheelhouse, and it's something that I really, really enjoy doing. But I know that there are a lot of feelings like you're worried that like your clients are only going to get results if they work with you one-to-one. Right? So like, oh, that sounds really cool. But like what I'm doing with my clients, like it's only like, they can only achieve those great results if it's just me, and I'm like personalizing it, and it's so customized to them, and it's just me and them. Okay. You also, I've heard this before too, like chaos. I think a lot of people think like of chaos when they think of like leading a big group of people. Like almost like kindergarten cop vibes. Like, oh my gosh, you're just like, shut up. Like I'm going to pull my hair out. And like, I don't know. I just think of that, like I picture the kindergarten cop, that scene where he's like, just shut up. Like, oh my gosh, that can feel overwhelming. Or maybe you're thinking that a one-to-many program needs to be like, maybe you have an idea for one even right now. Maybe you're like, oh, I already know I want to do this, but I need to have it all built out. It needs to be perfect from the start. Or maybe you're even working on building it out right now. Maybe you've been working on building it out for years. And that procrastination, that perfectionist procrastination is kind of slowing you down, right? And there you have so many ideas, maybe on a Google Doc or on an Evernote note, or even on your notes app in your phone, but they're just probably going to sit there for another year because it's like in your head, you think that it all has to be perfect. I'm telling you right now, that is not the case. That is not anywhere near true. I launched my very first group program, my very first one-to-many program, and it was literally, I had nothing built out. There were no slides, there were no audios, there were no videos. There was just a very like loose idea in my head of what these clients needed and how I could bring them together. And then I threw a few stories up on Instagram. And when 2 people were like, yes, I'm in, that's when I started building it out. And I built it out as I went that year. So I was just 1 week ahead of the program itself. And I was just building it out week by week. And it was a really cool experience. I learned a ton from it, and it was cool because the women that were in it with me, they kind of got to have a say in like what came next and what would have been helpful for them at the time and what they wanted to see more of. And so that kind of essentially helped me build it out as I went. So I was, what's that saying? I was building the plane. There's something about a plane and flying, right? You build the plane as you learn to fly it or something like, I don't know, something like that. I don't know. That's what I was doing though. And then another like fear that I've heard people say, like, is that they don't want to feel like an employee, right? To this one-to-many, like maybe they're feeling like an employee to their clients versus a leader and a guide or a mentor in a one-to-many space. So shifting that mindset and really creating solid boundaries and understanding how to make the program scalable right from the get-go, right from the very first day, from day one, that's what is going to help you get off this hamster wheel. Okay. So thinking about creating this like signature offer, this one-to-many program. And when I say one-to-many, like there are so many freaking ways that this can go. It could be a group program. Okay. It could be a mastermind. It could be a membership. It could be a mini mind. It could be there's so many different ways that we can bundle this and swing it and put it together. It's really like the sky is the limit with this. It's just really thinking about what it is that you enjoy coaching around. And I guarantee you that if you were to sit down, and I know that sitting down again and reflecting, if you're on this hamster wheel, you probably don't have a lot of reflection time built into your business time or your CEO time, which is a huge, huge mistake. Because I guarantee if you sat down and you really laid out, like, let's just say 3 or 4 or 5 of your like dream clients, right? And you wrote down, you really reflected and you were like, this is what we did together. This is what I was really good at helping them with. This is what they achieved. This is how we did it. You're going to see across the board, there are similarities. And maybe there's like one that is kind of an odd, like something out of the ordinary or ordinary is not the right word, but like that doesn't kind of go with the other ones, the commonalities. There is something there that you see that multiple people are needing the same questions that people are asking you. And the way that you lead them, you're probably already working through a signature framework. You just don't know it yet. Right? And when I say framework, and this is actually something that we're going to be working on tomorrow in our very first call together for the sold out signature offer program, where I'm literally helping women build out their signature offer. And it's so much deeper than just like put the framework out there. It's like looking at what is the best route for you in your business. It is looking at what's going to feel really good for you. And it's part of it, yes, is building out this signature framework, but it's so much more than just saying like, hey, what is it that you're doing? It's like getting really, really deep with this. And the first question that I always ask when I start this like framework thing, and it doesn't have to be, I think that people like make this a lot more complicated, or I think they think it's a lot more complicated in their head. Like, what is it that you love? Like, what is it that you love to coach around and that you could talk about all day with your clients, right? Because you don't want to and I've seen this happen before too. People think, oh, well, this is like something that's really needed, this topic or this thing. So I'm going to create a group program or a one-to-many program around that. But I don't really enjoy like talking about that or doing that. But I think that that's what my clients would really like want and need. And I think that that's something that they would buy. That is a huge mistake, because you do not want to rope yourself into creating something and like attaching yourself to something that you are not fully, absolutely like freaking in love with and that you are so lit up about, right? So the first thing I always ask is like, what is it that you love? Like, what can you talk about for hours and hours with your clients? What do you feel so lit up about? And what do you like to help people with that when they walk away and they have this amazing result, you are just feeling so pumped and so excited, and you're helping them get results, right? And again, if you look at everything that you're currently doing right now with your clients, right? If you like list everything out that you're working on with clients, and I'm talking about getting like nitty gritty. But again, if you're on that hamster wheel and you're just running, and all you're concerned with is fulfillment and making sure that your client, like those actually spending the time on those calls, and you don't have any reflection time built in, this is something that's really, really difficult to do. And I know for me, when I was on that hamster wheel and I was running, and I was exhausted and I was sweating and just like crazy, like, oh my gosh, how am I going to keep this up? I didn't have time to sit down and think about this. I had to carve out this time and be like, oh my gosh, I wish somebody had have told me sooner to sit down after every single call that I got on with a one-to-one client and reflect on what it was that we were working on. Reflect on what questions she asked me, what she was having trouble with, what any like limiting beliefs were, or what she was thinking was the problem. And then what specifically I did to help her work through that or help her begin to work through that. That piece of advice, if you take nothing else from this episode, do that. It will serve you tremendously because it allows you to begin to see patterns. It allows you to begin to see commonalities across the board. And that's essentially where the best signature programs come from, is when you see all of these great things that you're doing and you're able to put it together in a way that makes sense for your clients, right? And a framework isn't going to tie you, like you're not marrying it. It is not like you have to go step by step every time. This is just purely for you to understand, again, what it is you love to coach about, what you're already doing with your clients, and then also getting really, really clear on who your dream client is. If we're talking about the hamster wheel again, and you want to get real honest with yourself here, if you're running that hamster wheel, you probably don't have time to sit and think about if that's your ideal client or I like to call them dream client, if that's your dream client that you're working with or not. You're just going, like you're just moving and that's all you're concerned with, which is fine. But I know when I was in this spot, when I was like, okay, something's got to give here. So slow down. Let's add some reflection time in here. And let's really look at the people who are in my space right now. Are they actually my ideal client? And if I was being really honest with myself, the answer to that question was no. Not all of them were. This did not mean that I didn't love them. This did not mean that I didn't enjoy our time together. And this didn't also mean that I didn't get them great results. They all had great results. It was just that the things that we were talking about or their personality maybe didn't quite jive with mine. I didn't do a very good job of vetting or asking questions on the front end of the coaching relationship to make sure that our values aligned, to make sure that the goals were very, very clear. So we were both working towards the same thing in regards to what she wanted and what she wanted to walk away with. And this is nothing that I'm like shaming myself about or I'm ashamed about or anything, because it happens. And it happened because I just wasn't slowing down to like really think about who my dream client was in regards to alignment with me and what I wanted to coach around, what I wanted to talk about, my personality and like my way of being and her way of being. And also, her past relationships with other coaches, how she feels about getting results, if she's in this for like a quick Band-Aid fix, or if she's like, no, I'm in this for the long run. There were all of these things that I was like, I was literally like, when I stopped and slowed down and actually thought about this, I was like, oh, like I'm taking responsibility for this. Absolutely. But moving forward, this is the person, this is the dream client that I want to call into my space. And I'm going to do that through vetting, through conversations, through specific questions I'm asking. And I'm going to get to know this person even more on a really, really deep level, so I can clearly see what it is that she needs. And once I know that, so I've put together so far, I know what I love to coach around. I know what I'm already doing with my clients that is getting them great results. And now I understand who my dream client is, because I've gotten so into this person's head, almost like a stalker-ish type like situation where like, I know all of her thoughts. I know what she's thinking. I know her insecurities. I know what she's struggling with, right? I very, very clearly see that and understand that. And I feel that. And I want to help her with that. So then I understand, or we sit down and we think about, okay, what is the transformation here? What is it that she really, really desires and she wants? And what can I get her in this time frame? Like, there's certain things that like, yes, I can do a day with you in Voxer and we're going to get you great results. But there are also things that are longer term deeper things that we're going to do together in your business and in regards to your mindset and your leadership skills that are not going to happen in one day. They're going to happen over time. So I get to know this person so well that I know what the transformation is that I'm able to provide her, that I'm able, if she's willing, like if she's 100% in, she is my dream client, she comes into this space, and within this specific time frame, I know that if she's willing to show up and do all the things and just be totally all in this, I know very clearly what I'm going to be able to help her accomplish. And we talk about that as the transformation, right? So now stacking this on, if we're talking about this framework, right, for your very first signature offer or your one-to-many program, you now know what you love. You know now everything that you currently do. The things that you're already doing with your client. You know who this dream client is. You know what she wants. You know her desires. You know the transformation. And then what we just do is we like dump everything out. So like if someone were to come to me and say, hey, Sandy, I want this. And then I fill in the blank with the transformation. I'm going to list everything out that I would do with her, or that I would ask her, or that I would say to her, or that I would like guide her in. I would just dump it all out. Like literally, I literally like to do this on Post-its. So what I'll do is I'll write each idea out on a Post-it. And by the end of this, I have a shit ton of Post-its, right? And then what I do, talking about the framework, is I simply just take the Post-its and I move them around to things that like match, that go together. Very, very simple process. But essentially then what I have modules, or I have steps, or I have these you can call them whatever you want, chapters, modules, guides, whatever. Like I have these buckets of things that we can work through together. And essentially what that is now is my framework. That's how I move someone through this transformation. It's how I move my dream client to get these results that she's absolutely desiring. And bam, again, it is not rocket science. It's literally just taking the time to be really thoughtful and reflect, and then, having a stack of Post-its and moving the Post-its around. This is like so fun for me to do too. This is why I love like doing it with other people too. And then the last part, I think that is, most people do not address this when they're talking about creating a framework for a one-to-many program. And that is your secret sauce. Like, what is your unique selling point? What makes you different than anybody else? And I think that's the piece that's usually missing when people talk about creating a framework, because nobody is going to do it like you. Like literally, like I could give you like my framework and be like, here, you do this, you teach it, you lead this group of people through it. And those people could get a completely different experience, would learn completely different things if instead of being in it with me, or they could do both. And then it would just be so different, because you're you and I'm me, and we're both amazing. And we both bring different experiences. We both bring different knowledge. We both bring so much to the table. And I think that this is what is passed over when many people are thinking about creating a framework. It's more of just like the how-to or the modules or whatever it is. But we forget to infuse this like special part of you that's really what's going to put that program, like this one, I can't talk, that's what is going to help put that program on the map, because it's what makes it different than everybody else's program, right? Because, let's be real, like you can teach something and they're like, and I hear this all the time. This is probably another like mindset thing. Well, like, oh, she's already teaching it, so like, why would I do something like that? Or there's already a course on that. Why would they buy it from me when they could buy it from her? It's like they would buy it from you because you're you. So like, let's start to own that, and let's start to really like dig into that and share what it is that makes you so incredible at doing this one thing, right? Because people could Google anything. Like people could go on Google and be like, how do I grow a business? How do I start a business or whatever? And they could find all the answers, right? But working with me is going to be a much different experience. And it's going to be a much different experience because of all these things, all of this experience, all of this knowledge I have, and really just because of who I am. Like, you get to come into my space and I am like so much, like, it's going to be so much fun, and I'm going to be real with you. And all of these things are going to make it like a lot better than just Googling it, right? You can Google anything. People can Google anything. So to sum this up, I kind of just pressed record and just started kind of blabbing. To sum this up, let's get you off of this one-to-one hamster wheel, right? Where you are in constant go mode, constant burnout mode, where you're sick of getting home from your real job and shutting yourself in your office and hearing your kids like knock on the door, knock on the door. Mom, are you done? Are you done yet? When are you going to hang out with me? You want to create more time because, again, let's just say you have 5 clients, right? You have 5 one-to-one clients. So that's 5 days a week. You're coming home, you're getting on your one-to-one client calls, or maybe you're jamming them all in on the weekend and then you're feeling resentful because your family's down at the beach while you're on all these one-to-one calls. Essentially, getting off of that hamster wheel means that you're ready to create a one-to-many signature offer. Because let's take those 5 clients, or even if it's just 4, let's take 4 of those clients and let's create a framework that you can work them all through together at the same time. So instead of getting on 5 calls per week, now you're getting on 2 calls per week, one with that one-to-one private client that you still have, and one with these 4 clients. They're all still paying you. It's not necessarily sacrificing your income. But this program, this group program now is also scalable. So guess what? You can invite 4 more people in. So now you have 8 people in, right? And you're essentially continuing to scale and grow that program because from the get-go, you've paid attention to how to make it scalable. So it's not just for one-to-one clients all shoved together on the same call, getting one-to-one type support. No, this is an actual scalable offer. And this is exactly what we're going to be talking about and understanding how to do in Sold Out Signature Offer. So what that essentially does though, so if we think about this, if we went from 5 calls per week down to 2 calls per week, that has essentially freed you up of 3 hours per week. 3 hours per week to slow down, to reflect, and to do those things that we talked about in the beginning of this episode to actually grow your business, to also breathe, to spend time with your family, to do the things that you're like, I started a business for more freedom. And right now this feels like less freedom. And it feels like I'm about to just like lose my shit and I'm barely treading water. So how do we get off this? I'm here to tell you today that it is not too late. It's just a few shifts and it's embracing this idea of creating a one-to-many program. It is not as scary. It is not as difficult. Like I said, it's not rocket science, but there are things that you do have to pay attention to from the very beginning in order to make it scalable and in order to make sure that your clients are still going to get the most incredible results. You're already getting your clients' results. I have no doubt about that. And now it's just expanding that impact. And also part of this too could be building community, right? I know for me, that was one thing that I just craved. And that's part of why my first group program was born too, is because I wanted to bring people together. There's so much beauty in that. And like I said here, you guys, the sky is the limit. Once you have that framework and you kind of put together all of those things that we talked about in this episode today, you can rock and roll. Like you can just go and begin to create this community of women who are coming together to get these results with you. And it is such a beautiful thing. So if you are interested, I want to invite you. I don't actually know when this episode is going to air, sometime this week. So when you hear this episode, we will have already started Sold Out Signature Offer, but it is not too late to get in on this amazing goodness. We are literally going to be building out your signature offer, and number one, it's going to be so much fun. Number two, it's going to get you off of that hamster wheel, right? The hamster wheel that you're on right now. And it's going to allow you to begin to build out this signature offer to create more time in your business to actually grow your business. So you can scale and leave that 9-to-5 job that you're like craving. And so you're craving to leave that 9-to-5 job. So it's going to be 7 live calls with me. So amazing. You'll have lifetime access to all of the replays. You'll also have access to this program when I run it again in the future, because I fully intend, I don't know when, but like I fully intend to run it again as I learn more, as I expand more, as my clients get more results. We'll run it again in the future, and you will have access to that whole program again, to everything that's included, the live calls all again in the future. There is a Q&A there's a Q&A session at the end of the program so that you can get your questions answered and you can get customized support in regards to your business. And plus, it of course includes all of the docs and the slides and all of that good stuff. And again, you get to be in community with women who are doing the same thing, who are building out a signature offer, and who are just so excited and so pumped about getting off the hamster wheel and creating more impact without sacrificing or using up any of that precious time that you are already so, you're already spread thin enough. Let me help you hone this in and get off that hamster wheel so you have time to breathe. You have time to grow your business. You have time to not panic about oh my gosh, what's coming next? What am I doing next? And you feel like you're barely keeping your head above water. We're going to do all of these things together. So if this is something that you are interested in, or you are like, oh my gosh, yes, shoot me a message over on Instagram. You can always message me there. My DMs are always open. You can email me. You guys know I love to hear from you always. But I hope for today, this was helpful to, number one, bring awareness to maybe why you're feeling exhausted and burnt out. And maybe you didn't even realize that you are on that hamster wheel, that you have been running for a little while now, with beautiful intentions of growing your business and making an impact and helping your clients, which of course is always the goal. But maybe this shed a little bit of light as to why. Maybe it shed light today on the things that maybe you are throwing and putting on the back burner and not paying as close attention to, simply because you just don't have enough time or capacity to do that. And that's okay. And also the steps and the questions that I would ask you if you were in my space and you said, Sandy, I am so burnt out right now. I need some help. I need to figure out a way to make this sustainable. And what it would look like, the questions I would ask you to begin to create that signature framework that's going to essentially lead to your first, I'm sure it's going to be one of many signature offers that are in your offer suite, where you can impact many women and not have to sacrifice your time. So let me know what your thoughts are. I cannot wait to see you inside Sold Out Signature Offer. It's going to be so much fun. And we're just going to kick some ass here. We're going to get off that freaking hamster wheel. Okay, you guys? Okay, I'll see you next time. Have a great rest of your day, evening, morning, wherever you are. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And I'll see you guys next time. Okay? Bye.
Thanks for listening, you guys. If you're ready to get your business going and making money and to step into that next level version of you, I would love to support you make that happen through strategy, mindset work, and my Cut the BS style coaching, because it's always better, quicker, and more fun to have someone who's already been through it support you. Shoot me a message over on Instagram with the word ready, and we can chat and get your questions answered about coaching and how I can support you. I cannot wait to hear from you.